Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. And today, if you guys, this is another movie review, another MCU review. I know we're in the middle of Evil Dead, but we got to do this one as well because it's actually directed by Sam Raimi, who, created Evil Dead. So there you go. But yeah, so this is the next in the MCU. Of course, after this is going to be Miss Marvel. But of course, I am doing the the Evil Dead show and all that first. But I thought I'd kind of get this one out of the way and just kind of talk about it. So yeah. Doctor Strange 2, aka Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, is of course directed by Sam Raimi, and the next MCU film. And this is kind of the first MCU movie that I guess it's horror, right? Like if you look at it online, it says fantasy and horror, because it is, right? Like technically, I guess Jurassic Park is also technically a horror movie, but we don't talk about that. But yeah, I think that it's very much a unique departure from Marvel. Now, man, I remember. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, they said the F word, and it was like, oh my god! And then Deadpool and Wolverine comes out with like 130 of them. But this was kind of, the big next step after No Way Home, right? In terms of the multiverse saga. What do we do? How do we do it? What's going on? Who are these people? And where's Doctor Strange at? And I think that's kind of cool that we literally start with him kind of, I guess at Rachel McAdams' wedding. Whoever her name is, I forgot her name. Kathy, Katie, something like that. And yeah, she is getting married to someone else, and he's kind of mad about that. And then stuff goes crazy with not Gargantos, I believe. It's some other crazy looking squid thing. But basically, this girl, America Chavez, who was in, I believe she's in Lego Marvel Avengers, I think. That's where I kind of first got to know her. But America Chavez, who's not American, she's Asian American, but her name's America, so don't get confused. America is being chased, not the country, the woman, lady, girl, whatever. She's being chased by, demons and these crazy zombies and all that. And, Doctor Strange is like, hey, what's going on here? Why are you doing that? And, obviously we find out that, Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff is, of course, in charge of all that. And then horror stuff kind of ensues. But this movie kind of does a lot of things in a unique way. And not just because it's got scary jump scares and a little bit of blood and some gory stuff and some grisly deaths, right? That's obviously, part of the horror territory. You're also getting, Sam Raimi at the helm, who, of course, like I said, he did other stuff besides Evil Dead, but everyone kind of knows him for that, right? We're in the middle of the review series for a reason, and he really, if Army of Darkness, I think this is my Army of Darkness's review is going to come after that, but Army of Darkness kind of felt a little bit of a departure from the horror aspect of Evil Dead, which isn't really a negative, but it is something to be said. But this movie feels like Sam Raimi back to form, right? It's got the crazy zoom-ins, it's got the weird distorted filter, it's got the crazy, like when Doctor Strange is walking up like the staircase. And he sees like the evil strange or whatever with the third eye or whatnot with the Darkhold. You see like the like a staircase and it goes like whoa, makes these really weird noises. He's freaking king at making these weird noises and just really odd shots and all that. We see like when Wanda's chasing him and she's blowing up like the dam looking, not dam swear, the damn water thing. She's blowing a damn hole through the damn wall, and you see, kind of these punch zoom-ins of the characters as we're kind of, you see the water dropping, and there's a lot of really good shots in there as well. They also had kind of like a stop-motion feel to it as well, where Wanda kind of, I should say maybe Scarlet Witch, comes out of like the mirror or whatever in Camertage, and she's like doing this weird like stop-motion looking thing. Obviously it's CG, but it's also really good. So yeah, I mean, as a horror movie for the MCU, it is scary. Like, I don't really get scared by movies because I know they're fake, but at the same time, yeah, like, this is my second or third time seeing this, and yeah, I still got a little bit, ooh, like, I wasn't scared or nothing, I didn't, like, lose sleep over it, but, when you go from Marvel, which is, oh, funny jokes and some violence, funny jokes, action, funny jokes, action, and then you do funny jokes, action, and these horror, horrific elements, it really is kind of something different, and I think that's what's really unique about it, and it works, right? Like, there are some genuinely unnerving things, right? Like Wanda dream walking. I think that aspect of, when you dream, it's literally like an alternate multiversal version of yourself. I think that's kind of cool, and like when you see Scarlet Witch use the Darkhold and kind of, dream walk into another version of Wanda, so that she can be with her kids, like, what ramifications does that have on the other Wanda and all that other crazy stuff. So I think the plot is actually really strong. The CGI is probably where this movie gets the lowest points for me. Obviously the movie is very colorful, very bright, very vibrant, but I'm talking the CG people, so to speak. America gets carried off by the octopus thing, or certain characters, or you can tell they're CGI. It's not horrible, but it is a little bit more noticeable than what I would have wanted. Maybe it's because I got glasses. I don't know. But for a review, I was technically looking for faults. And the CGI, it ain't bad, but I feel like the strongest aspect of this film is by far, the cameos, which we'll get into, but also the story and the horrific and the horror execution of that. But speaking of the cameos, I've actually seen a lot of hate for this movie online. I've seen a lot of people go, "Oh, this movie's shit. No, it sucks," and "Oh, it's horribly written. Oh my God, the writing is so bad." And I genuinely. I don't effing get it, okay? I just don't. I think that the movie, in terms of the cameos, we'll hit that first. Obviously, Black-Agar Bolt-Gun, right? Black Bolt is cool. I don't know if that's... I guess that means Inhumans is technically MCU canon. I think it always was. I haven't seen it. But leave me, a comment in the comments if Inhumans is actually, objectively canon. Because I do want to watch it. Even though it's horrible. I want to watch it. We get Maria Rambeau as I believe, Photon or some other, superhero version of herself. And then obviously we get, big ones. We get Mordo and all that. But we get, obviously, freaking John Krasinski as Reed Richards, which, yes, I'm with you. He should have been the effing normal Reed. He shouldn't have died. He should... Pedro Pascal, I don't know how he's going to do. We gotta see. But he looks great, man, as Mr. Fantastic. He really, really fits the bill, I think, in this film. Obviously, he dies, but... Spoiler alert, he dies. But I think, it's whatever. But, and then, of course, we get Professor X, which, in the yellow armchair thing, I don't know what version of Professor X this is. If this is the, Logan, Wolverine, Fox version, or if it's like the animated version, just this time he's in live action. I don't really know what version he is. But it is still cool to technically see him. And, obviously, Deadpool and Wolverine made, 99% of the Fox stuff officially canon. Much like how No Way Home did with Sony to the MCU. But, this is kind of the first stage of that. I remember when, this poster, literally, this effing poster was out. I don't know if it's here. It's somewhere. It was on the poster in one of them in my movie theater, and it looked like Deadpool. You maybe know this. Deadpool was, in one of the shards of glass, right? And they were like, "Oh my God, it's Deadpool. Wow, he's going to be in this effing movie." He's not. He wasn't. But, I don't know. I guess we were all stupid, or we all had, really effed up eyes. I saw it too, so I don't know. People are also saying that effing dude in the Thunderbolts trailer got 17 fingers or whatever, so you never know. But I think that, it is cool to get the cameos in there, and it doesn't feel like, obviously they are meant to be like, whoa, fuck! They're meant to be freaking out over, that's the whole point of a cameo, but they do serve the purpose, right? The Illuminati is a group comprised of these people. It's not, obviously they all effing die, Wanda kills them all, but it doesn't feel to me at least like, Black Bolt was like, and then he just died. Obviously that's what happened, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like he's part of this group, he's part of this universe, this world, and he's here for that. Same with all the other, members of the Illuminati. I think they're really, really well handled there. And they don't really feel just like, "Oh, I'm here to say a few lines and I'm Professor X and oh, I'm dead." It doesn't feel like that. It feels like they're living and breathing in this world and they're not just there to be like, "Oh yeah, cheer and move on now." I think it's kind of cool. It's called the Multiverse of Madness, right? The multiverse can be scary. And cool, so it's kind of cool. They kind of hit all those aspects of it. Of course, Wanda murders them all in horrific ways, which, the theater reactions for Black Bolt's death, man, it's still effing crazy. You go on YouTube, type that shit on YouTube, it's insane, man. People are free. My theater, every time I see a goddamn movie in a theater, it's like the whole audience was gassed, right? They're all dead or sleeping. I'm the only one making any type of noise, and I gotta pretend like I'm a mouse, because I can't be like, whoa! If I do that, they're gonna kick me out. So, in my little nerd brain, I'm having 15 strokes. I'm going insane. I'm like, wow! I'm going crazy. But in the actual theater, everyone else is just kind of they're dead or something. So it's kind of lame. But, the reactions for this movie, especially these death scenes and just the movie in and of itself, the jump scares and all that, it's really cool. Wanda breaking the fourth wall, looking directly at us, the viewer. There's some really cool stuff in there. And then we got to get to the writing, right? I think a lot of people hate this movie's writing because they say, "Oh, Wanda's out of character. Wanda isn't the villain. Wanda would never do that. Why is she acting like a villain?" And to that I say, did you effing watch WandaVision? Do you have a brainstem? And if so, are you using it? Because you probably should. But at this same exact instance, right, you get, at the end of WandaVision, obviously, spoilers for that show, but you probably effing saw it now. At least I hope you did. It's pretty good. But, Agatha is, besides having a new show, Agatha is, I don't know what that was. Agatha is freaking out, and she's kind of introducing the Darkhold, right, which is like the MCU version of the Necronomicon, I guess. So I have to put it in like Evil Dead Sam Raimi terms, right, and keep them with the freaking theming. That's pretty much what it is. It's the Book of the Damned, right? It's a literal book from hell, like the Necronomicon. Maybe not as evil, I don't know. It's like MCU adjacent evil, but it's pretty effing scary. And you basically get, whoever reads from it or, manipulates the book in some capacity. Most, I guess, Doctor Strange they get this third eye, but also, they get corrupted and they pretty much turn evil, right? I mean, that's pretty much how it goes. And Wanda, basically took that book, and she's been living in this, orchard field of death, and she's reading the Darkhold, and that's why, so her emotions are already high-strung. She's already pissed. She, literally all she wants is just to be happy with her two boys, and she can't even effing have that, because she's like, oh, I'll use the Darkhold to, do this stuff and kind of be with my kids and live happy. And Doctor Strange is like, hey, you do that, you're going to F with a lot of stuff. And she's like, well, I don't care, screw you. And she kills a lot of people in the process. That, obviously, Wanda is a good person. She just does some pretty bad things, right? She's a very human character, right? Kind of like Luke Skywalker. A good character, a good human that did a pretty effed up thing and paid the price for it. But they both, Wanda's dead. But, Luke made up for that and had a great arc. Wanda, on the other hand, pretty much dies. I haven't seen Agatha all along yet. I haven't. So if you've seen it, don't ruin it. But, yeah, so at this stage, Wanda dies, right? She kills herself. And I think that it's really interesting that, she kind of has this moment in the end where she's, she's killing all these people. She murders the Illuminati. She's acting really scary, like a demon, like literally murdering people in horrific ways. And she beats up other version of Wanda, and her kids are freaking out. And she's like, no, I didn't mean it. I would never hurt anyone. I love you. I would never hurt you or anyone ever. I'm a good person. I'm not a monster. And in that moment when she sees her two sons crying, like, who the fudge is this woman? She looks like my mom. She just bitch slapped my other mom. What's going on? So this is crazy. And Wanda has this realization that, oh, shoot, I kind of made an oopsie, I kind of made a mistake. And she's kind of like, reconciling for that. And obviously, she kills herself. But in that, she destroys the Darkhold in every single multiversal universe or plane, at least at this stage of the film, that's what happens. And I think that's kind of cool. So, no, I genuinely don't understand how people can call that bad writing. Because she, A, already wants to be with her sons, but also, B, she's possessed by a literal book of the damned. Literally, making her emotions even more strong and more chaotic and more jacked up and more evil, and that's why she acts, completely cuckoo, man. Like, she's murdering people. Wanda wouldn't do that. If she didn't read from the Darkhold, she wouldn't have been doing that. Like, she wouldn't. She's not an evil killer, and that's why she becomes this thing she swears she isn't because of this manipulative book. And that's it. That's effing it. Like, all the people complaining online, think about it for 2 seconds. For God's sake, please, just like Star Wars, just like Evil Dead with the recap and all that. We already talked about it, but please use your brain when you're watching these movies. I'm not saying you, but just people on the internet. They're so dumb sometimes. They don't understand writing, and they also don't like to think. And pairing those two together is a recipe for, this movie sucks. And obviously, if the movie is bad because of actual writing, I get it. But, objectively, if you think about it, that's why she acts that way. She's not out of character. She doesn't just do it because, the writer forgot. These things have a purpose. They're not idiots. These writers for these multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar earning films are not stupid babies. They know how to write scripts. And obviously not every script in the MCU is perfect. Don't take words, don't take it out of context. But for this film specifically, I think the writing is actually pretty strong for a lot of reasons. That's just one of them. But yeah, I think Doctor Strange is a really good character arc where he kind of learns how to let go of Christine. There we go, Christine. And kind of, realize what's going on at stake. America maybe has the worst writing in terms of, I've also seen that, aspect where America's like, I can't control my powers. And then Doctor Strange, or Zombie Strange, is like, just do it. And she's like, oh yeah, okay. I get it. Like that, I get it. Like, you can't have a multi-level arc in this whatever film. But at the same time, I guess the only way I could explain that to you is where it's not necessarily the worst writing in the world, is that America is scared, and every time she activates these crazy multiversal, stars, these blue stars, she does it kind of like out of instinct, but she doesn't realize, she doesn't know how to do it, she just kind of does it, right? It's like, I don't know, an instinct. It's like Finn in episode 9 is like, oh, Ray's in trouble. How do you know? Instinct. Obviously the Force, you know, she doesn't have the Force, but you know what I'm saying. You know, America quite literally doesn't know how to control her own powers, and when that goes sideways, she's like, oh shoot, I don't know how to do that. And Doctor Strange reminds her at a crucial moment, no, you do know. All this time you've been doing it correctly the whole time. You sent us exactly where you need us to go. You do know how to do it. Maybe it's not like some, you know, it's not like you go, like, you know, you press into like Spider-Man and a freaking portal opens. I don't know if she can, like, has that power to like control that, but all these times, even when her, you know, the parents were kaboom in the portal, which, yeah, don't do that because you don't get banned. I think that it's really interesting that, you know, you have that aspect of this character where she's like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, but it turns out she did. She just, you know, didn't know she could do it. Obviously, we're probably going to see America again. She is training in Kamar-Taj with the other sorcerers and all that, which is kind of cool, so maybe she can hone her powers. I've also seen, you know, quotes that she's a Mary Sue and that she's flawless and that, oh, she's just perfect because she's a woman. A Mary Sue, don't worry, I'm not going to get into it, but a Mary Sue in literature, in film, is basically a woman who is perfect at everything ever and cannot be hurt, die, really, fail in any sort of way. She is a perfect woman. It's basically Jesus Christ as a girl, okay, pretty much. It's God as a woman. I don't know if God was, I don't know, but, you know, sometimes it is a woman, I don't know, whatever. But it's either Morgan Freeman or someone else, you know, I don't know. But I think that it is really weird that people say that's the case. Like, no, like she's not Mary Sue. Like, she's literally makes mistakes the whole movie. Like, she literally makes a mistake also at the end of the freaking movie when she's trying to do the sling ring portal. She can't do it. Oh, that's a mistake. She's not a Mary Sue. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. People are dumb. But yeah, I think, you know, in terms of the writing, maybe she gets the worst out of it. But again, I just explained it, so there you go. It's not the best writing in the world, but it's also not dog shit like the internet says it is either. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, again, you're getting great cameos that actually matter, really good jump scares and horror elements that Sam Raimi is basically the master of at this point. You get really good fight scenes, really good CGI for the most part. There's a few, you know, human CGIs where it looks a little bit wonky and plasticky, but, you know, what do you do? The soundtrack is great. Danny Elfman, who's apparently a criminal now, I don't know, I don't really care, but apparently he's canceled. You've also got Wong, of course, he's cool and everything. The monsters are great. I love the shots, you know, the very Sam Raimi shots. This film is an MCU movie, but it really, really, really feels like a Sam Raimi movie, which Army of Darkness, again, didn't really feel in a whole lot of ways. It's still great, but it didn't feel like Evil Dead 1 and 2. This does feel like Evil Dead in nature, you know what I mean? Maybe not as graphic and gruesome, but it still is very violent, gory, and disturbing. And, you know, they really kind of nailed that aspect of it for sure. You know, just the shots and the editing and all that. It's really good stuff. And I had a lot of fun with it, man. This is personally, you know, out of this review, personally, this is one of my favorite Marvel movies of all time. I effing love this movie. I think it's really great. Of course, you know, I did see this movie after being introduced to Evil Dead, so maybe that, you know, seeing Bruce Campbell, you know, punch himself and all that, kind of similar to Evil Dead 2. Really good reference there. Of course, the end credit scene where it's like, you know, it's over, and the camera pans. It's classic Evil Dead stuff, classic Sam Raimi and Bruce, and I think it's really cool to have that aspect in this. Of course, Sam Raimi did direct, and I believe he wrote maybe the Spider-Man trilogy with Tobey Maguire, which those are also now canon to the MCU through the multiverse, so don't worry, I'm going to look at those way down the line, but it's on the way. So, you know, that's kind of cool, too, that, you know, this is his fourth Marvel film, and I think Sam really knocked it out of the park. I think this is the best Marvel film he's made, one of the best movies he's made of all time, and I think it's a really great follow-up to Doctor Strange 1. Really good character arcs, really good writing, really good action, good scare stuff, and I think it's a whole lot of fun. So tell me down below in the comments what you think about Doctor Strange the Multiverse of Madness. Can't wait to cover Ms. Marvel. Again, I'm going to do my Evil Dead stuff first and then go back to the MCU. But yeah, man, this is a great time, man. Really fun, a little scary, and some really good stuff along the way. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.